Character development. Otherwise commonly recognized as character progression, character development is categorized as a change or difference in a character than what they were before. Essentially, what character development is a change, negative or positive, in a particular character. And recently within My Hero Academia, Deku has been perceived by a large majority of the My Hero Academia fanbase to be going through a serious case of character development, or entering an edgy phase of his character. And while I agree that Deku is not the exact same human being he was at the beginning of the series in Chapter 1, I do think that people are overestimating or misinterpreting Deku's actions up to this point in the series and as a person. At his very core, Deku is the same that he has always been. In short, Deku has not changed, everything else has. Now, considering the fact that many people passionate about My Hero Academia sometimes have tunnel vision in terms of what they think should happen in the series, what they think does happen in the series, and many lack the ability to see or understand the nuance of an argument unless you spell it out for them, I'd like to nip something in the bud that I can foresee happening in the comments section if I don't make it very clear. So, while I have said in both the title and in the introduction of this video, Deku has not changed, that is only partially true. As a person, we have seen that Deku has gone through plenty of mindset changes that affect his personality and outlook on the world. Whether it be his ability to be more confident in himself as the series progressed, to his outlook on villainy within the world in which he inhabits, it is no secret that Deku has progressed and developed as a human being and as a character within the world of My Hero Academia. When I and many other people say that Deku has not changed, we are being somewhat hyperbolic in our statements. We are fully aware that change has been sparked within Deku, but what we are, or at least I can speak for myself in this case, I'm specifically referring to are the recent plot developments when it comes to Deku and his lone wolf attitude towards heroism. Many people seem to take this change in Deku's tone or appearance to be a literal change in who he is as a character, and I think this misconception comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of Deku's character and what his personal character flaw has been throughout the entire series of My Hero Academia. You see, Deku has been portrayed and characterized to be an altruistic and selfless person since the earliest chapter of the series. When seeing Bakugo being attacked by a villain, Deku jumps into the fray without hesitation in spite of his powerlessness. This self-sacrificial nature of Deku's is then reinforced time and time again on multiple occasions with many of the characters within the My Hero Academia universe. Whether it be through saving Uraraka from a giant robot when he didn't know would help him pass, to saving Todoroki from himself and starting him down his path of self-acceptance, even if it made Todoroki's opponent stronger, he has always been someone who has shown a complete lack of care for himself and complete selflessness for people that he sees in danger. In fact, we see that Deku is also a person who already has at least core aspects of the lone wolf traits even early on in the story, and an example being when Bakugo was captured by the League of Villains. Now, I'd like to quickly say that the misunderstanding or misinterpretation of Deku's character does not inherently come from somebody not being invested in a series properly or lacking comprehension of the narrative. In fact, until recently, Koei Horikoshi has characterized Deku's altruism to be a good trait that every hero should strive for and have in the field. And unless you were someone who was really in tune with the themes of My Hero since the beginning, and have a truly good read on where Horikoshi was going to send the series, it is likely that a sudden shift in the quality of Deku's altruism comes at a surprise. Especially because the same self-sacrificial altruism that is being shown to wear him down and result in his mental and ideological loss are the same traits that are inherently what allowed him to obtain the power of One for All. And while I could go into a whole spiel about the negatives of One for All and how even the power and concept behind it perpetuates an extremely unhealthy mental state and ideology, that is a topic for another video that I have coming soon. Regardless, back to the topic at hand. Up to this point in the video, I have stated why I think Deku's character arc here is not so much a development, but more of an arc that is displaying that Deku's ideas of being the pillar of a hero society have been wrong. It will only result in the inevitable failure of him and his ability to change or save Shigaraki if he continues down this road. But for all of those who are skeptical or just require a little bit of evidence from the series, let me break down each and every one of Deku's traits that have existed well before this arc came into play, and kind of speak on how they connect to his current quote-unquote vigilante arc, as some people like to call it. When looking for the trait of Deku sacrificing himself in order to preserve the safety of others, look no further than Chapter 1, in which he puts his life on the line to save Bakugo, Chapter 3, in which he uses One for All in order to save Uraraka, Chapter 51, in which he fights the hero killer Stain in order to save Ida, as well as literally dozens of other instances in which he clearly puts his life on the line in order to save people. If you're searching for the trait that Deku has currently of pushing himself well beyond his physical limits and mental capacities, as we see in the most recent chapter, and you're trying to look for earlier incarnations of this, chapters 75, 76, 77, 81, 82, or really any major fight in which Deku uses One For All at 100% or more, and you have a precedent for Deku pushing beyond his body's limits, even though he knows the repercussions of doing so. If you are looking for instances of Deku being extremely stubborn in his efforts to save people or keep people that he loves and cares about outside of harm's way, simply reference the muscular fight, Overall's fight, his tender care with Eri, and several other examples in which Deku is displaying himself to be a very brutish person when it comes to saving people. When it comes to that, when it comes to the act of being a hero and what he defines to be a hero personally, Deku doesn't really take no for an answer. Deku is not okay with leaving people out to not be saved. In fact, he's willing to break the rules, possibly even break the law, all in order to do what he has to do in order to save people, whether they be his friends, family, or even somebody that he doesn't even know. If he can save somebody, Deku is willing to do really anything and willing to sacrifice any of his own personal well-being in order to do so. This has been the case for an extremely long time within the series, and this is nothing new to him. And as for Deku running off on his own without regard for how that makes others feel, well, that comes from the rescue mission for Bakugo and Deku's quick run to find Ida during the Stain arc. And when all of Deku's core character traits are amalgamated and listed off in quick succession like that, I think that it is beyond a reasonable doubt that Deku is, at his core, not changed throughout this arc. His circumstances and what Deku has to go through as a character, as a hero, and as the inheritor of One For All have 100%. With All For One turning his full attention onto Deku and his power, and in return his responsibility also increasing, the pressure is rising higher than ever for our main protagonist. This pressure has not necessarily changed him, as I've elaborated throughout the entirety of this video, but what it has done is reduce his reasoning capacity if it conflicts with saving people, and it has been eating away at his body and mind, forcing him to act only on his strongest desires to save people and protect the people that he cares about, being completely unaware of the mental toll and spiritual toll that he's taking on people like Eri, Uraraka, Bakugo, Ida, and the rest of Class 1A, as he doesn't seem to realize that him not being there and him going through such stressful times affects them and hurts them as well. Thus, being the reason that the title and introduction of this video alluded to Deku not being the reason that his tone and attitude seems to have changed, but his surroundings, environment, and things that are affecting him have forced this supposed change. And when looking at the mountain of evidence provided for said claim, it becomes rather difficult to argue that Deku, at least within the realm of this arc, that a substantial change in his motivations, desires, actions, thoughts, emotions, and most, if not all, of the core things that comprise the character known as Deku. If you made it to the end of this video, considered all of the points brought up, and possibly even change your perspective on Deku as a character, congratulations! You are, in comparison to many other passionate fans of the series, an anomaly, or the cream of the crop, maybe even a quirk in the system, if you will. And that ability to change your mind or even hear someone else's perspective on a series is a really cool trait. I want that here. So pat yourself on the back, and if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell. If you like My Hero Academia content, you should definitely stick around, as I will be dropping a pretty hefty analysis on Deku, One For All, and the flaws within the ideals of heroism previously upheld by All Might and now Deku. So, hope you guys will be around for the ride and, be there when I do end up dropping that video. Links to similar My Hero Academia content will be linked down in the description below and in the cards and end screen for you guys to enjoy at your own leisure. But in any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, this is Broken Ronin signing off.